Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Sunday, February the 20th. The year is 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Also, we're starting a week, and it's the last full trading week of the month. So let's make sure that we have our risk management in place and we don't lose any more in any one particular trade than we are willing to lose. Starting off, we'll look at the month. We are 142 pips above the monthly open. Looking at the week, since we're only a couple of hours into the trading day, we still have a few pairs where the gap hasn't filled. Right now, the pound is just slightly below the open by about 3 pips, and about 3 pips off the high and 3 pips off the low. So we really haven't done much movement in the first 2 hours. But what we should look at are the setups. So we've already had the gap fill. It gapped up, came down, filled that gap. But we see the weekly pivot is below the open, so we're going to target the weekly pivot. So we're going to think short. Opening range for the week is being put in today. And I just realized I'm on a different broker, so we've got that dreaded Sunday candle. Maybe I'll pause the video and switch over to the other broker. Okay, so we got rid of that dreaded Sunday candle. And we are 62 pips above that yearly open. Lots of inside bar action still here. Even though we didn't have an inside bar on the pound, it was almost an inside bar. We're in the lower wick zone here, so look for it to break out. Only 16 pip range for the day. So you can see here, actually we gapped down on this broker and we filled that gap. Rat zone, of course, the range is too low. We want to hit the pivot above here at 3603. And let's see, we're not near S1 yet. The weekly pivot's down here. So we've got daily pivot above, weekly pivot below. So take your pick which way you want to trade. Once again, daily pivot above, weekly pivot below, and the monthly pivot has already been taken out. We are in that lower wick zone of the previous day. So we'll bust out around 35.97 on the upside and 35.72 on the downside. For the week, once again, we had 2 compressed weeks, so maybe we'll get a big move this week. Some people are targeting the 132 area. I don't know. Anything could happen. Simple horizontal line trading with the wall mall lines. We can see last hour paid off by about 5 or 6 pips. This hour actually looks like it's paid off by about 3 or 4 pips. On the higher, low, lower, high, trading with the semaphores, you can see price put in a low, tried to test that low, broke above. Right here, that's the lower high, so there was one trade to the north and a second trade to the north. Once again, just using these simple price action horizontal lines, put your trade on, put your stop loss on, and see if you can take it for 2, 3, 4 pips or more. It's not that difficult. But one of the problems is that we as humans have a tendency to not be consistent because we don't create the habits that create this consistency. Because you can have all the determination you want, but if you're not consistently determined, if you don't do it on a consistent basis, it's not going to work. And in trading, especially if you're trading the type of statistical trades that I present, you've got to be there and you've got to take them, because the one you don't take might be the one that means the difference between profit and loss. Not that any one trade is that important, but you just never know. You might miss that one trade that had you gotten in, it were just to take off for the rest of the day. That's on you, not the system. And one thing I've been playing with over the weekend here, Bambino Flex, I'd come up with a theory. I think I might have talked about it on Friday, but basically what we're looking at is trying to get a direction. So right here, we're saying we want to trade south. Why? Trade short. Because S1, the pivot, is below the previous day's low. So we want to trade to the south. But there's also the weekly. And so in this case, the weekly R1 is above the previous week's high. So you want to trade long. So once again, you have conflicting signals. You have to choose which one. Or you could trade them both if your account allows you to be both long and short at the same time. And that's kind of something interesting that I'm going to be playing with, as opposed to money management. Because if you're in a trade and it goes one way, you can either stop out, or you can hedge it, or you can double down and go the other way. And pretty, if you're good and price is ranging, you can work your way out and have profits on both sides. I've done that a couple of times before. It can be dicey, but it can be done. If you look at this trade here, you put the long on, and you see your downside was never threatened. I'm trying to see if there's a good example here. So maybe you put the short on here. You failed to take profit and it went against you, but that's probably not a good trade because that was over 10 pips. If you got 10 pips in the bank and you give them back, unless it's in the blink of an eye, that's on you. But sometimes when you get into these choppy areas, where maybe you went short here, it reversed, you go long here, it came back, not enough. So maybe you bought again, and then you could take it, you close out your longs, and then come back, counter with a short, come all the way back here. The first one's pretty much break even, but you made money this way. That's the type of price action that I was referring to. But once again, it's dicey. You have to be careful. You have to have a set plan and you have to execute it, because once again, you miss one entry and then your plan gets wrecked. So you have to be focused in front of your terminal, and just trading, not doing 2, 3, 4 things at once, where you're trading and you're looking at a YouTube video and you're talking to somebody and you're reading some other blog post or something. No, you have to be focused on your trade and on top of it. Now, I know sometimes it's difficult, especially in a slow moving market, but that's when you really have to double down and be focused, because that way you can go, okay, if price reaches here, this is what I'm going to do. And if it goes this other way, this is what I'm going to do. And you have the time to sit there and actually plan your next move. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video early, because that's pretty much it right now. So just remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.